Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's secret webinar. You might be wondering, what's the big secret? Or many of you might already know and are just tuning in uh, to get more information. So today's secret is more of an announcement, and we'll be providing more information in the coming weeks. But I wanted to announce something very special today. And today's announcement is really coming based on our philosophy at the Good Life Abroad, which is to always listen to our community members. As a relatively young organization, we've only been as successful as we have been because we listen to our community. Um, so as a result, I'm really excited to announce the launch of a new program line called Short Stays, 2-week short stays. Now, you might think, okay, I get it, 2 weeks, but let me tell you a little bit more about why and how we envision short stay programs. We specifically created them because we listened to our community members. And what we heard is, I'd like a little more flexibility. You have one thing, Andrew, and it's great. It's 1 month abroad in an independent apartment. Um, but there's different sort of things that happen in life that either make you want to do things a little bit differently. So we wanted to offer a little more flexibility. And particularly, we really did develop this so that people could dive deeper into a region. Our whole ethos here is about live abroad, discover living abroad, live like a local in iconic cities across Europe. And we've done a great job of that. We've had so many community members have wonderful experiences in all of our cities. But many of them said, hey, can we extend? How do we go deeper? How do we go longer than just a month, but not staying in the exact same city and kind of repeating the program? And what we saw, we just looked at the behaviors of our community members. We saw that many of them would continue their journeys to do a month with us, but then go to other areas, towns in the region, and go deeper. And we thought, that is great. How can we help facilitate that? So, really, our initial thought was let's allow people to do our 1 month program and then extend it with doing 2 weeks in the region. And because of that, we have um, scheduled the dates of our short stay programs to connect to many of our month-long signature programs. And we'll get more into the specifics of that. But the idea is instead of doing 4 weeks, maybe we can do 6 weeks. Um, the other way we could do this is combine. We can mix and match 2-week programs so that you could create 4, 6, or 8 weeks across different iconic European cities. Again, to provide that flexibility so that you can go to the places you want to go to and explore your way. So we definitely haven't moved away from the idea that being abroad for a month or more is really the right way to fully immerse yourself. So maybe it's 6 weeks if you combined a month plus 2 weeks, or it's 2 weeks in a bunch of different places to allow you to get more breadth. And of course, you could do it as a standalone program. We're big fans of living abroad, but we understand also that life has a lot of obligations. And even if we're retired or semi-retired, there's always things that draw us back home, and usually wonderful things like family and friends and holidays. So sometimes, no matter how badly you'd like to go out to Europe for a long period of time, sometimes life just gives you a 2-week window, and we wanted to be able to fill that window as well. So that's the thinking behind the 2-week programs is a way to go deeper by connecting programs and explore more of Europe. One of the first destinations we're going to offer this in is in Porto, Portugal. And Porto is in northern Portugal. And it's a beautiful, small city. It's really close to the Douro wine valley. It's a day trip from Porto. Beautiful, the tiled buildings. Everything is very walkable. And it's a really laid back, beautiful place with delicious food. Don't get me started on the food. But Porto is is a great place for this, and specifically this idea of extending your program. So we offer our program in Lisbon, and it's very popular. It's one of our first programs, and we saw that many people were going on to Porto. So we thought, why not offer a way for people to go do 2 weeks and really immerse themselves in Porto after doing the month in Lisbon. So those dates connect. Side note, we're not going to have a whole lot of time for questions today, but if you did want to submit some questions, we can try to get to some of them. But use the Q&A feature. There's a Q&A icon at the in the Zoom toolbar, and type in your questions there. And if we have time, we'll get to them. Um, so Porto is one of our short stay destinations, and it's a great way to connect or extend your time from Lisbon to Porto, or vice versa, from Porto to Lisbon, or again, it mix and match between cities. The next city where we're going to offer short stays is in Nice, France. The Côte d'Azur, the French Riviera. You've maybe you've been there or you've heard of it. Drop dead gorgeous place on earth. One of my favorite regions of the world. And so similarly, we've scheduled our Nice short stays to connect to our Paris program. So you could do a month in Paris and then do 2 weeks in Nice, or vice versa, or again, mix and match. And what's really great about Nice is our lodging will be in the city center. And from Nice, there is a light rail system that goes right through the middle of the city that you can hop on and go to all the little small towns in the French Riviera. So you don't need a car necessarily to go to explore these beautiful places. Um, like Eze or Cape Ale, or even going to Monaco is just a straight shot down um, from Nice. In fact, you can get to Italy in about 40 minutes on that same light rail. So, for those who don't know, Nice at one point was actually part of Italy, so you have a lot of Italian influence as well, and Italy is just a stone throw away from Nice. But Nice is absolutely beautiful, and if you love art, Matisse, Picasso, Chagall, they all spend a lot of time there, and there's museums dedicated to these artists in Nice, and the food is very unique. So it's a beautiful location. It's a great way to kind of dive deep into this region of France. Um, the next place is Edinburgh, Edinburgh, Scotland. Um, Very excited about this. Many of our community members have asked us about Edinburgh, and we listened. Um, and it's, I think, a perfect place for a short stay, because, well, one, we're able to secure lodging in the historic old center of Edinburgh, which is great. There's not a ton of housing there. Um, and so we are right in under the shadow of the Edinburgh Castle. If you've been there, you know that castle is a big landmark in the city, and stands out. And the whole city, I mean, is like a fairy tale. I encourage you, if you're at all interested and you don't know a lot about Edinburgh, to Google it, look at photos, read about it. And our program there is going to allow you to just dive into that local culture with the support of our local community manager who knows the region, but also give you plenty of free time to go off and explore on your own as well. Um, and it's very easy to do day trips from Edinburgh as well. And London, big city, place where we've had a program, but we've also listened to our community members and heard, yeah, London is a great place. I've been there. I'd like to go back and immerse myself, but not necessarily for a month. So we're also offering it as a short stay in addition to our month-long program. And what we saw from our groups who've gone to London is they love going to the galleries, to the museum, to the theater. And so this is a great way to go into London for a couple of weeks, see some shows, have some great meals, go to some galleries, do 2 weeks, and then you're very close to connecting. We're very close to London, or from London to Paris on the train, or you can go up to Edinburgh. So the London short stay program connects to the Edinburgh short stay. So if you wanted to do 2 weeks in London and 2 weeks in Edinburgh, the programs connect perfectly. So you're able to go and have that experience. Also, obviously, you could go to Paris from London very easily. So those are the four new destinations, if you count London, for the short stays. Now, what does a short stay exactly? So it's very similar to our signature month-long program, which is having the built-in community of fellow travel lovers right around you, the support of the local community manager to guide you and give recommendations and help you make the most of your time. There's someone who really gets to know you and then connects you to things that you specifically will like. Much more effective than just looking at TripAdvisor and reading what random people on the internet say, but having that local community manager. And then having some curated activities and events that allow you to connect to the local culture, but also to connect to each other. Then we are staying in for short stays, specifically in fully serviced upscale apart hotels. So these are apartments, but all in one building, and that building functions essentially as a hotel, but instead of hotel rooms, there are apartments. But much like a hotel, they're fully serviced. There's a front desk, there's communal spaces, there's amenities such as gyms and lounges. So it's in this respect, it's a little different than our signature month-long programs, and I'll talk more about that in a second. Um, and in addition, of course, our medical insurance and optional wellness programming. So very similar to the month-long signature program, but with some small tweaks. And so let's kind of dive into those. So in the core, the center is still the Good Life Abroad program that we've always had, that everyone has grown to love and know. But with short stays, because we're not staying in independent apartments like our signature programs, we're actually in these apart hotels. This allows us to go places where there aren't these large property management firms that have these independent apartments. The independent apartments are great, but one, um, it's these don't exist in smaller cities, in many smaller cities. They may in a very limited quantity, but we've always struggled as an organization to find housing in smaller cities because they simply didn't have the same types of where they have hundreds of apartments kind of throughout a neighborhood clustered together. And secondly, we found that independent apartments are just that, independent. They're totally independent. Like you're on your own. Uh, you need an extra towel. You have to go buy an extra towel. Some people say, hey, if I'm just there for 2 weeks, I don't want to be like futzing around and like trying to figure out this and that. I just want to go and hit the ground running, and I want everything to just be taken care of. Because an independent apartment, by definition, not everything is taken care of. It's your apartment. It's up to you to sort of make it your home. But if you have 2 weeks, you don't have the same amount of time. So we have located and selected very nice, full service apart hotels where whatever you need, it's at the at your fingertips. And then short stays, of course, has the flexible duration, the 2 weeks, or you can combine them to make 4 weeks or 6 weeks. So that's sort of the slight difference, but at its core, it still has the same things that the core, the signature Good Life Abroad program has. You can get a sense of what I mean by these apart hotels. I mean, these are very different from having your own apartment in a building with a bunch of local people, and which is great, which is the great experience for really immersing yourself and living like a local. But when you have 2 weeks, we said, let's go to some places where you have your apartment, you have your bedroom, your living room, your more of a kitchenette, like a two-burner stove top, but you have communal spaces. And we specifically chose these places that have common areas that foster the sense of community. Because in the end, what makes the Good Life Abroad special is a sense of community. It's people coming together who love cultural immersion and travel, and they have these touch points of activities that we do that we put on throughout the program. But what we've seen time and time again is that that community clicks, and there's all sorts of activities and exploration that you're doing with new friends and other people who share that same value of travel and cultural immersion and cultural appreciation. And so we thought, let's find lodging that has spaces where in the evening or in the morning we can meet up, kind of plan our day, like, hey, who wants to go check out these things? Or in the evening after a day of exploration, just unwind with a glass of wine and swap stories. In addition, these buildings have amenities. In this case, you can see this one has a weight room. They all have laundry facilities as well, but it's a full service apart hotel. So you have your apartment, but you have all the amenities and support of the building management. So you're not on your own, and it's not an independent apartment. So if this sounds interesting, uh, well, the first step is you're going to have a lot of questions and learn more. And we specifically, because of that, have scheduled a deep dive into short stays. So if you want, you can go to our website, thegoodlifeabroad.com, and you'll see there's a link you can click to see our upcoming webinars. And we're specifically 1 week from today doing the deep dive on the short stays, where we'll go really into detail on each of the programs. Because I know there's going to be a lot of questions, and if we open it up to discussion today with 4 new cities and a whole new program line, we could be here for a very long time. So I encourage you, if you're something you're interested in, 1 week from today, we're going to do a deep dive. We'll go city by city. Um, or if you're interested and said, look, I get it. I know the Good Life Abroad. I've heard great things. You can book. When this webinar is over, we will have all these new destinations up on the website. They're going to be going live as we speak. And you can go ahead and click book now and select your dates and go ahead and book if you like. So thank you for attending and listening to this announcement. We have about 10 minutes for some questions. If you wanted to input them into the Q&A box using in the Zoom toolbar, feel free to do that. And we'll try to get to as many as we can in the remaining time that we have. Um, all right, all right, so we have some questions here. Can you comment on the situation in France vis-a-vis your Paris monthly stays? So, yes, so we specifically scheduled the Nice short stay to connect to the Paris month long. So from people can arrive, do the month in Paris, and then hop on the train, um, and you can get down to Nice in the same day, and then check into your short stay. When will dates be released for short stays? As soon as this webinar is done, they will be up on the website. If you click book now, you'll see, um, if you go to the website after this webinar, you click the book now button, there's something new that will appear. It will have, we have the filters where you can filter by city, by year, by month, but there will be another filter that says, show me signature, month-long signature programs or 2 week short stays or both. Um, for those raising their hand, we're not calling on hands. If you have a question, please write it to the Q&A box. Um, so, so that's where we will have the dates. When you click short stays and in the filter, and then you'll see all the dates specifically for the different destinations. Why are 2 week prices so much compared to a month long? Um, well, precisely because the moment it's sort of it's kind of a two-part answer, but one is when we stay for a month or more in our month-long signature programs, we are working in a different industry when it comes to housing. This housing is the biggest driver behind everything we do. In cities where there's regulations to control the proliferation of Airbnbs or other short-term rentals, there's a lot of laws that say, okay, anything less than a month gets treated one way, and that's a month or more gets treated a different way. Anything that's a month or more and is where we play. And there's a whole set of companies and housing suppliers that's focused on what is considered medium-term rentals, more than a month. And so we work with them, and they're independent apartments. They don't have all the amenities of a hotel, and it's medium term. It's a whole different type of housing stock. It's a lot more affordable, a lot more economical. The moment you go into 2 weeks, you're competing with hotels, you're working with hotels. That's short term, and then we become beholden to kind of the dynamics of hotel pricing. So we've done our best to try to provide maximum value for for the experience. And by value, we mean look, it's not an independent apartment. You have all these amenities and support and your gym and your lounge and your this and front desk receptionist. So you're not on your own. You're getting a lot more, and it is costing more because it is a full service hotel, although it's a hotel that contains apartments. So we're sort of now playing in a slightly different space, but you're getting a different experience with regard to housing, probably a more all-inclusive um, experience. Uh, so someone asked if the 2 week immersion stay is the same apartment set as the one. No. So exactly to my point. It's a completely different set of apartments. It's not independent apartments. It's different buildings, different providers, because the month-long programs work with a certain set of housing suppliers that only do a 1 month and up. And this is now short term, and we're working with completely different buildings. What's the status of Edinburgh? Edinburgh is wonderful. It's on, and we picked times in the late spring when the weather is actually good. Um, New to your program, is there information about the month-long signature program? Yes, if you go to our website, there's a menu option that says travel resources, and in there, there's previous webinars, and there's been many previous webinars that you can watch that dive deep into our month-long program and explain the details there. And I think we have some coming up in a couple of weeks that you can sign up for as well. And often we invite past participants to speak on those webinars. Can you extend a month in Paris, a month long, and by staying in your same apartment and making it a 6 week stay? So some people say, yeah, I love this idea of a month or longer, 6 weeks. Can I just stay in one place? So, yes, is doable. Just contact our office when you book to, it all has to do with the availability of the apartment for the dates that you book, and if it's still available in the time after, if you wanted to extend that. So it's just something we can look into, and if there's availability, we can make it happen. Do you need to use this as an extension, or can you just do it as a short stay if you can't get away? Absolutely, you can do it as a standalone program. If you just can't get away, we understand life happens, things happen, or just your schedule is very busy and you only have 2 weeks. Absolutely, we think it's still a great thing. And there's no minimum to do a month long first. You can just do the short stay on your own, or you can do two short stays and combine them if you'd like. Um, Someone asks, just curious, what percentage of your community members go for 30 days versus 60 days versus 90 days? I would say 75% of our people stay for 1 month, and 24% of our people, basically I would say 1% of the people still go for 3 months. The vast majority go for 1 month, and then about 25%, 24% go for 2 months. And often are combining programs between different cities, a month here, a month there, a month there. So yes, Edinburgh is only available for a short stay. And no, we don't assist with transportation between the location other than um, it's very straightforward at most of these places to just um, book the train. There's high-speed rail across Europe, and to book a train between the two locations. Our community managers, excuse me, our community managers in all of the cities can help you also book your train between cities as well, and they can do that even during your program just for you to do getaways. Like, oh, I'm in Edinburgh and I'd like to go to some other town. I'd like to go to Glasgow. Our community manager can help you um, learn how to book that train for yourself, or if you're in Paris, how to book the train to Nice or Marseille or Bordeaux. So our community managers are there to help you. But really getting between it is pretty straightforward. So I'm confused. Are you offering 2 week stays as standalone or extensions to 1 month? Both. All three. Mix and match. Extend. Standalone. The goal here is flexibility. Flexibility. So um, can I do 2 weeks in Porto and 2 weeks in Lisbon? So unfortunately, no. We can where we have our month-long signature programs, those are just month-long programs. So Lisbon is a month-long signature program, and Porto is a 2 week short stay. So we don't have 2 weeks in Lisbon. Um, are there any relocation elements integrated into the short stay or long stay programming? Yeah, so many of our people go on the Good Life Abroad as a way to sort of test drive what it might be to move to that city. Portugal is a very common example. People say, I'm interested in, but I want to know the neighborhoods, I want to know the traffic patterns, I want to know the noise, what to be aware of, and Porto as well. Um, so our community manager, when they get to know you in the beginning of the program, what they do is sit down with each person individually and say, hey, tell me what you want to get out of this month. So some people say, oh, I'm actually thinking about moving here. They will guide you and say, okay, hey, here are some neighborhoods you should check out if you're interested in this or that, based on getting to know you, of course, right? I like to live in the middle of the nightlife. No, I like to be in a quiet area, but I want to be close to the nightlife, but I don't want to be in it. These are great things for our community manager to know so they can kind of guide you in the right direction. And if you're seriously interested in looking at properties, our community managers can connect you to relocation agents who can actually take you out to look at houses or apartments if you're interested in permanently or investing in real estate abroad. Um, Anything in the Costa del Sol area of Spain? Well, the one thing I will tell you is that these are four destinations for short stays. It's a new program line, a new product line, if you will. Um, and we typically do things like this where we start small, we kind of learn from our community members, see how it goes. And then as soon as we see that things are going well, we'll expand out to more cities. And there's many cities that I would love to do short stays in because there's cities that are iconic and beautiful, but in the past we haven't been able to go to because they simply don't have the housing infrastructure of all these independent apartments. These are small towns, but they often will have a nice boutique upscale apart hotel that we could work with. So there's a lot of potential for expansion here with short stays, but we're going to kind of just make sure things are going well. It's a little bit different and get those under our belt before we expand. But yes, Costa del Sol, um, other places in small towns in France and Italy, Spain, Germany, that'll be great to go to. Um, Yes, so you can, there's a few questions here around having to always connect. No, you don't have to connect. You can do it on your own. Additional cities, yeah, assuming the successful rollout of the first four, um, we hope to announce um, in the first quarter of next year more cities for short stays. And if we feel like things are going really smoothly, we might even announce a little bit sooner than that. So be on the lookout. But we are definitely planning on, assuming all goes well, that we will roll out more cities with short stays. Are two bedrooms available for short stays? Yes, in some cases. In some cases, no. Some cases, those buildings don't have it. So you'll have to look on a city by city basis to see which ones have two bedrooms. Um, Uh, okay, in the month-long signature programs, how many people are there typically, and how many couples and solo travelers? Um, on average, in our month-long signature programs, there are 15 people in a group, and about two-thirds of those are couples, and one-third are solo travelers. Can you give an idea of pricing regular to a 1 month stay? The pricing varies city by city. As soon as it's live on the website, when this webinar is done, you can click and book now. But it's I'll tell you, it's not. Well, also the cities are different, right? A month in Lisbon. Okay, I'll tell you, Porto is not 50% of the a month in Lisbon. It's I don't know, 60, 70, 65%, something in there. You have to look city by city. Breakfasts are not included. That's a question. But in Edinburgh and London, there is an option if you wanted to purchase directly with the apart hotel. They have a breakfast buffet in the morning, and you can just have breakfast provided for you there if you'd like. Again, this is the idea of having a full service apart hotel where you literally could have breakfast provided to you in the morning if you wanted. That's very different from our independent apartments where you're truly living in your own apartment with other local people in the same building. Um, we'll be sending out a recording of the deep dive. If you register for the webinar, you will get a recording of it the next day, whether you attend or not. If you just register, it means you're interested, and then the next day, everyone who registered gets a recording. In London, are the short stays in the same building as the long stays? No, that's different. In our month-long signature programs in London, we are at King's Cross in a very beautiful building with large apartments with heated floors and balconies, a very nice full kitchen, nice appliances. Um, with the 2 week short stays, we're in serviced apartment, apart hotel in Paddington, right by Paddington Station. It's a brand new building, right in the canal area. If you know London, there's a lot of canals and a lot of new shops and restaurants that have opened up in Paddington. And Paddington, of course, is a major connecting tube station for transferring across London. Um, yes, so deep dive. If you register, you'll get a recording. We understand it is Rosh Hashanah. Um, does the 2 week stay include lunches or other activities? Yeah, this is a great point. Maybe I didn't dive into it as much earlier. It's similar to the month-long signature programs. It includes your Tuesday lunch clubs with time where we take you out to different restaurants to teach you about new foods, to show you restaurants in areas you might not have explored, time to come together as a community, these long lunches with food and drink and friends together. It's still there. Every Wednesday, we're doing cultural activities such as cooking classes or historical walking tours to get to know the area a bit more. We do an orientation in the beginning to kind of empower you to live like a local, to learn how public transportation works, where to get your groceries, if you wanted to get housewares, to really kind of allow you to live independently, but with the support of our local staff. We still do our welcome party at the beginning, our farewell party. Some of them have been really spectacular parties that we've thrown over the years. Thursday, we still do our happy to be 55 plus hour, our version of a happy hour, which is drinks and light bites and whatnot. So it's all, and those are all included in the program fee. So please don't think this is just about renting an apartment. No, this is about the whole experience of the community, the support of our community manager who's available from 9 to 5, Monday through Friday on text message, who's there in person with you at all of your activities, who meets with you individually at the start of every program to understand what it is you want to get out of this so they can connect you to the things that locals know about and you can have that local experience. And all of the apartments, even with the 2 week short stays, do have kitchens. They're more of kitchenettes. Again, think 2 burner electric stove tops. You'll have your frying pan and your dishes and your cutlery and a coffee maker. But it's not going to be quite as extensive as a full kitchen. Um, let's see, deep dive to view it later. Yes, so if you wanted to sign up for the deep dive webinar, um, yes, you can do it on our website. I will even, let me see if I can just pull it up so everyone can see exactly how to register for that. One moment here. Let's do. So if you're here on our website, you can go to travel resources, previous webinars, upcoming webinars, or right here at the top, it just says view upcoming webinars. And here is the deep dive, and you can register for it right here. And then whether you show up or not, you will get the recording. Someone asked about solo travelers. Yes, solo travelers are absolutely welcome. And what's great about that is solo travelers always say to me, Andrew, I was worried because there's couples as well, but I was pleasantly surprised that they're so inclusive because it's all about community. We all look out for each other. It's all about, hey, I'm going to go do this thing. Who wants to join me? Right. And like random people, spontaneous happy hour, spontaneous trips to the local soccer teams match. So solo travelers love this program because again, it's about community. It's about being inclusive and having a built-in group of friends. How far in advance do you need to book? I would say on average, most people book 8 to 9 months in advance. Some people for certain destinations that fill up book a year or more in advance. But pretty much, and it's 6 months if everyone is fully booked for where they're going. So we will add more in Italy, and why not Sicily? We'll get there. We'll get there. All right. So everyone's got these ideas of places we go. We'll get there. We got to start somewhere, folks. We're going to start somewhere, and we're going to add as we go, and we'll get to all those great places. I see lots of ideas here. More cities. What's the maximum number of people that can do a short stay? Um, is it different? It the number of people in a group for a short stay is completely driven by the amount of apartments we're able to secure and obviously the amount of demand. I foresee it being very similar to our month-long signature programs, about 15 people, um, between 12 and 15 people, I would say on average. How far from the city center? So in all cities, we want to be in the city center, but let's be clear what we mean by city center. There's what the local people would call the city center, and there's what tourists would call the city center. And the tourists call the city center the historical part, with the cobblestone streets and it's like all the boutiques and whatnot. But the city center itself is actually usually much bigger than that, but it's not in the outskirts or the periphery of the city. It is still very much in the city center, and it's always sort of in a 15 to 20-minute walk down into the touristy cobblestone streets, part of town. Now, in Edinburgh, for example, you're right there, actually in the historic area, looking out of your apartment, but at the Edinburgh Castle. In London, we're in Paddington, so you're not in Covent Garden, but you're Paddington, so it's a quick. I like Paddington as an area, though. I think it's got a lot to explore, and I think that's really what we're hoping for with the Good Life Abroad, is that many of you have been to these places, you've seen the tourist highlights, but you want to go deeper. You want to go see more that the city has to offer. So we like to pull people out of the tourist area. Okay, this Paris dates align with Scotland. Um, I don't think so, but I'm not 100% sure. You'll have to look at the website where it says book now with the dates. And yes, okay, another great question here. Are there going to be optional planned guided side tours? Yes, that's a great point. I should have brought that up. Um, in most of our programs, over the weekends, if people would like, we offer some weekend getaways, tours of kind of famous places in the region. You don't have to go with us. You can book it yourself through any tour company you like. But many of our community members find it very convenient, and they like the idea of just going. It's exclusive to our group. It's just our people. It's not random people who booked off the internet. So we will have those available with our short stays as well. All right. Um, Okay, so a lot of questions here with dates. I'll encourage you to look at the website with when the dates are going to be available in a few minutes. A lot of questions here with locations. As I said, we're getting there. We're going to go um, uh, in these specific buildings. Dogs are not permitted. I'm sorry. I'm a big dog lover and dog owner, and the specific buildings do not permit dogs. Um, Okay. Apart hotels have kitchenettes. Activities are Tuesday through Thursday. Yep. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday are free for independent exploration with the support of our community manager. Okay, I'm just trying to, there's endless questions here. Visas are not required, so therefore we don't need to help you with that because you're going for as long as you're going for under 90 days, you can go without a visa. And yes, Mallorca agrees. So many great ideas. Bologna, Turin, we're going to expand. For now, we're going to be focused completely on Europe, and for at least for the next couple of years. So many places that we still want to expand to. All right, everyone. If there's more questions, please feel free to email our office at info@thegoodlifeabroad.com, or stay tuned for the deep dive on short stays webinar next week. And if you're more interested in our month-long signature programs, then please feel free to sign up for our webinar coming up. I believe it's October 7th, called Discovering the Good Life Abroad, which will focus primarily on our month-long signature programs, but also have some information about our short stays. All right. Sorry if I didn't get to your questions. It's a lot of questions here, and um, but our office is available to answer any other questions you might have. So thank you very much. I'm excited. I hope to see you out there on one of our short stays. I'm looking forward personally to getting out there. Love the south of France. I love Portugal. Edinburgh is like a fairy tale, so maybe I'll see you out there. And remember, wherever you are, you deserve the good life. Take care.